Wake up, wake up. So, good morning, everybody. It's a tough morning, I can tell, after all of those wild parties last night. We'll have the first panel of the day, and it's going to be a very interesting topic, anti-fraud spam and the black boxes of the industry. We have a marvelous panel to discuss about it, and we have a great presentation from Mr. Vladimir Smol from Lang Telecom, that he's going to try to explain what is happening with this kind of things. And then we're going to go in a very interesting conversation with my panelists. Okay, Vladimir, your stage all yours. Try to wake up, and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Andreas. So good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. This is a very big topic right now in the telecom, and I'm glad that some people actually sacrifice their morning time to come here. So my presentation today is about fraud, basically in voice and SMS. So for us, Lang Telecom, where I come from, we have been in voice business since 2001. We have been in SMS business for last 10 years almost. We are as big as 300 plus employees based worldwide. We have offices in Europe and States and Asia and Africa, all around the world. Our partners are more than 1,500 partners all over the world. And we have more than 150 installations of our anti-fraud solutions. So hence, today I'm gonna share with you what we see, how we see the fraud happening, what we see is possible to do with that, and what are the major fraud types that are currently present in telecom. So our fraud solutions have been well acknowledged already by several awards. Just recently, we've been on the Antonio Meucci Awards, which was a great job by Andreas. We got the best anti-fraud solution there. We have also been awarded at Cybersecurity and Bold Awards and GCCM. So we've taken the anti-fraud business as a serious one. We have a really great team of professionals, great team of scientists actually that are doing it. Because from our perspective, fraudsters, they already become really, really smart. So you cannot fight them unless you're smarter. Hence, we are introducing AI. We're introducing machine learning in order to make our system the most efficient and to ensure that we only block fraud traffic, but the real traffic, the genuine users, are not affected. So there is a lot of fraud and a lot of different types of fraud in the market these days. And so fraudsters try this and that in order to get money, get profit out of telecom market, because obviously telecom market has a lot of cash, right? And that's easy money. That is why there's so many fraudulent schemes and so many bad actors in this area. So if we're talking about the most well-known types of fraud, we will be talking obviously about AIT, artificially inflated traffic, generation of traffic. We can also mention SMS spoofing, SMS phishing or smishing, SMS hacking, spam, Wangiri, conference call fraud, PBX hacking, international revenue share fraud schemes, etc., etc. But today I'm gonna talk about just 3 types of fraud that we think are most harmful these days in the business, and these are, I think, the biggest threats as we see it. So first, obviously, it's artificially inflated traffic, or AIT, or SMS pumping. In a nutshell, it is when bots are initiating OTP request from an application in order to boost the traffic, and then they are intercepting those messages and terminating by themselves and taking the profit out of the aggregator, CPaaS platforms, and enterprise. I will also have I will also tell about Wangiri 2.0, why it's 2.0. Okay, so normal Wangiri is when you are getting a missed call from some unknown number, and then a person would be calling back, but this a number that was on the missed call is in fact belongs to some premium rate number range or high cost destination, and then the user would be paying a lot of money for those calls, and or enterprise or mobile operator. And Wangiri 2.0 is basically when those calls are triggered by bots. It's not a missed call. So basically, fraudsters will complete some online forms on the enterprise website. They will be leaving the number to call back, and then those callbacks would be to those premium rate numbers. So basically, the major victim here is not mobile operator or subscriber, as it's in normal Wangiri, but more an enterprise. Now I'll also talk about impersonation scam. I think all of us heard of it, or maybe some of you have already also received those calls from some fraudsters that telling you, okay, I'm calling you from bank, you have a problem with your credit card, or your bank account was blocked, and I need your code, I need your security word, or whatever. So that is there is a lot of types of these calls as well, impersonating like different bodies. But this is, I think, a really big thing right now. So it's worth discussing it today as well. So let's start with artificially inflated traffic. Let's look at the normal sign-up process, how it works in a normal life. So basically, a user will be downloading some app. In order to register in the app, you need to enter your phone number. Then you will receive an OTP to your number. Input the number, and then the registration completes. So aggregators are the ones that are delivering this SMS for enterprises. Now, what happens in AIT scheme is that instead of a real user, there is a bot that is doing the same thing that the user would do. So they act as a user, as a normal subscriber. Again, they will be requesting an OTP to a certain number or number each. But then those messages would be intercepted by a bad actor. And in fact, for brand, there will be no new user after this process. So it's a fake registration, right? If we look at it from the other perspective, from the let's say mobile ecosystem perspective, there is these two let's say ways. The rogue third party is actually standing within an aggregator and MNO, or it could be an aggregator itself. So as you see here, in the normal scenario, there is a consumer that is requesting an OTP. In the AIT scheme, there is a rogue third party, the bots that are initiating the SMS, OTP SMS to a certain number range. They take it from MNO. It could be some real numbers, or it could be some numbers that do not exist. But but in any case, the traffic is being hijacked, and the fraudsters collect the profit. So what is it for the brand? First, the brand would see there is a high conversion rate because there is more registration happening, even though a big number of those registrations are actually fake. Um, but in the same time, they see that their costs, their charges increase a lot. So those users, they do not convert to paying customers. So there is no money, no additional money in the end for the brands. And then at some point, enterprises would start thinking that something is not going wrong because, okay, they get a lot of customers, but there is no customers that are bringing them profit. So they start thinking of retargeting or remarketing or even trying to develop some new product or new feature. So this all takes a lot of resources from them, and in the end, so the enterprise would pay a lot for what is happening. So which are the main, let's say, methods to prevent fraud? So there is a manual threshold-based blocking. Obviously, you can see some spike in your traffic, and then you can block certain A numbers or B numbers. But in that case, there is quite high chances that together with real traffic, together with the fraud traffic, together with fake users, you might block traffic from real consumers. So there is no granularity and precision. We think that the best way, as I mentioned, to target this fraud is through AI and machine learning, which will make sure that during these attacks only fraudulent traffic is being blocked and the real users are not affected. There is also an option to do an end-to-end validation. In that case, every SMS will be validated. So enterprise will not be paying for any message that is being sent or initiated by bot. So this is the best scenario, but unfortunately that would require a lot of resources, and that would require a direct relationship in between mobile operators and enterprises. So the size of AIT in certain regions has become so big that in some cases, and we have seen it in Kazakhstan, for example, a big OTT, they just stop sending any SMS, right? So that was a problem for mobile operators as well, because there is a lot of complaints from subscribers. And the users themselves were complaining to enterprise because they couldn't complete the sign-up process. Yeah, so as I said, we think that the best way to target fraud would be through AI. If we look at the regions where AIT is present mostly, or let's say where the percentage of AIT traffic is the biggest, that would be high-cost destinations for SMS. As many of you know, there is a lot of high-cost countries in Asia Pacific, in CIS and Africa. So that would be the ones where the biggest percentage of AIT is happening if we take the whole traffic. So this is our stats. This is percent of AIT within all traffic. Now, if we look at the industry statistics, the biggest percentage of AIT traffic within the industry is in education, real estate, manufacturing, and software, and also healthcare. Yeah. So now moving to One-Giri 2.0. Actually, Lang Telecom, One-Giri 2.0 is a term that we introduced into the market. It was in September 2019 during GSMA. We presented it there, and we have described the whole issue. So as you can see here, the fraudster is leaving through bots, is leaving in the online for a certain number range, and then the enterprise would be initiating this call, and this call will end up at the fraudster switch, and on the other side there will be some kind of an answering machine. So there will be no real user, but still there will be some duration, and thus the enterprise will in the end pay for those calls. So again, here we think the best way to target this type of fraud will be through AI. So currently we have developed an IVR model which alerts employees that are dialing certain numbers about the suspicious number range they're calling to, and that there is high possibility of fraud being present in this very case. So they have an ability to either proceed with the call regardless of our alert, or just drop the call. So as simple as it is, but yeah, obviously it requires a lot of automation, a lot of machine learning to really detect the fraudulent B numbers. Now talking about impersonation fraud, the biggest victims of this fraud are basically banks and their customers. So we had discussions with some banks, and we have seen that in US, just one bank would pay up to $8,500K per day due to this fraudulent traffic. So this is one of the major reasons why regulators are actually encouraging operators to verify the traffic. Hence, in the United States, we have this STIR/SHAKEN been introduced, and I think it's coming to Europe as well. And then the main channel that's been exploited by fraud is basically voice, SMS, and any type of internet messengers, emails, and other applications. Let me look at this one. So what we suggest here is that an enterprise can actually do end-to-end validation of every message or every call. So there is a, let's say, neutral SMS registry. And before making a call or before sending an SMS, an enterprise would be sending a query to MNO requesting if they really see this user sending them a request for SMS. So they're verifying if this user belongs to mobile operator or not. If this user is bot account or didn't initiate any kind of requests, then this message will be dropped. So the idea of, or let's say the mission of these measures is basically to reduce social tension, because nowadays in impersonation has reached a very high level in certain areas. So there is a lack of trust by end user to voice channels and SMS channels. We need to restore this trust, and and of course to minimize losses for banks and their customers. So it's a big thing, and as I said, the only way to go here is through sophisticated methods such as machine learning and AI. So that's it from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vladimir. It was a great presentation, I have to say. I would like to invite in the stage, you can take your chair and be with us. Mr. Muktes Narula from Pinnacle Teleservices, Tom Lida, CEO at Globtel, and Vladimir, of course, in order to discuss about the fraud. And I'm not going to be so polite today because I'm really pissed off with these things. And not because of the fraud and the people or the machines or the organizations that do the fraud, but how hypocritical our industry is. So, hello, welcome. And I would like to say that it's a big issue, okay? And we know that people, they have paid millions of euros and dollars in the previous years because of any kind of fraud. And we're talking about the fraud like it's something that our industry doesn't have any contact to do with this. It's helpless. But we all know that it's not helpless because if they don't want to do the fraud, they don't pay the fraud and they stop the fraud immediately. But you know, when you are having as an individual, as you said, a bill of 150 euros because of a phone that you call back, you know, and you call to any mobile operators, I'm sorry, you did the call, you have to pay.
Exactly.
So that means, and this is the first question of my questionnaire, is it finally the curse or an opportunity in disguise? Because we're talking about billions here. So, Vladimir.
Well, it's definitely a threat from my perspective. Of course, end users should not pay for what fraudsters
But they
are
do?
doing. They have to, yes. So that is why we think that we need to present to the market the solution that will enable mobile operators and their subscribers, enterprises and their users to, you know, to be free and to be protected from those fraud scenarios. But the only thing is that unless and until mobile operators and enterprises understand the severity of this issue and start cooperating with companies that provide the anti-fraud solutions, nothing would change.
Yeah. Well, imagine that, you know, the operators that didn't do anything about it up to the time that companies like Lang Telecom or any other companies, they came up with a solution, you know.
True.
And for all of those years, they didn't do anything because it's a lot of money.
Yes, of course.
Muktes, what do you think about it? Is it an opportunity in disguise? Is it a real curse?
No,
I mean,
it is a curse because the reputation of the operators is also at the stake. Now, with the competition of, you know, among the operators that we have in any country, 4-5 operators, so unless they keep their subscribers safe, they cannot continue to, you know, retain them.
do you have these problems in India?
Yes.
You do?
It's a global problem. It's everywhere.
Yeah. Well, no, not in North America.
Really?
He was
Oh,
very
okay.
clear in his presentation, because the regulations are really very strict there.
Okay. So,
You know, if you want to do something, you do it. You find a way to do it. If you want to leave it open, you know, for to make some money, you can leave it
yeah,
open.
so
as well.
we keep receiving messages, awareness messages from our regulator also that we should avoid, you know, receiving or calling back such numbers. But then yes, it is the moral responsibility of the operators to ensure that their subscribers are not cheated.
Thank you for this. Tom, what do you think?
I would say it depends.
Mm-hmm.
In general, I agree with you guys that it's something really, really bad. It leads to losses. It leads to situations like people are suffering because, like Vladimir said a moment ago, sometimes it's not even only about losing money. I have heard about a situation when scammers, they used someone's life number to create a WhatsApp account, right? And based on that WhatsApp, they did some activities. And that person whose number has been used for that account creation was not aware at all. And suddenly, some morning, police forces knocked her doors, and she got arrested. Because what they assumed, this is the number, that's the owner, she has something in common, right? So obviously, we can't forget about the customers at the end of that path. And about the education, all that stuff leads to very bad things. But on the other hand, it's a huge innovation that it brings to the market, right? Don't forget about it, because this is how it goes. It is like every action causes reaction, right? So these people started doing some bad things, and here we are. We try to do something to avoid these issues, to help people which are at the end of that situation. So that's another perspective. I'm honestly thinking that it's really, really bad. We have to put a lot of common efforts, like, because if it is only Lang or your company or my company do it, it's still nothing, because there's a huge hole, a part of our companies, right? The rest, they don't do that. If they don't do that, if they are not interested in sacrificing this cost, our efforts goes in vain.
Yeah, I guess the scamsters have to spend less amount of money to, find out new ways of cheating. That's true.
Well, what about training the people? What about educating the audience, the subscribers? I mean, never happened, nobody thought about it. I never seen any SMS from a mobile operator to say to the consumers, you don't have to pick up phones that are from abroad, that you don't have any contact, I mean, it's so easy, Tom.
No, it happens.
What I'm thinking is, if we are talking about education, we should take under consideration important factor, the age of the customer. Because people which are approximately in our age, we are getting that. It's kind of easy. We live with that. It's okay, I got an SMS, I got even an email. It's obvious for me. I'm not clicking that, right?
Yeah, okay.
But older people, they are lacking education. There is no education for them, let's be honest. And they are mainly that part that is suffering from that. That's the case. So education, regulations maybe. We are seeing that it happens on the market. Some countries are implementing rules by rules. It's getting better, but still these regulations, they are more domestic one than international one, and that's the issue as well.
Vladimir?
Well, another issue here is that, for example, if we talk about AIT, it's actually spoiling the whole SMS, A2P SMS market. Because enterprise nowadays would look at A2P SMS as a channel. It's becoming more expensive. It's becoming less protected because there is a lot of fraud. So why, in the end of the day, they would prefer to use SMS as a channel for their international traffic if they have so many issues in this channel, right? You can use OTT channel. There is almost no fraud so far. And pay less and get sometimes better customer experience. So what's happening is that this fraud is actually resulting in the, let's say, in no growth for SMS traffic, like this genuine traffic, right? So we can see right now that within the SMS traffic, there's so much generated that sometimes it's even hard to say if the overall volumes are growing or not, because there's so much generated traffic.
Who gets the benefit after all, Vladimir?
From what?
From the spam.
Well, fraudsters, obviously, but they look at it on the short term. So they come to the market, they get their stake of the pie, and then they leave. When there's nobody else willing to pay for that, then they just leave. But for us, for the industry members, for those who are doing business, I mean, we stay with a big problem because there is less and less customers that are willing to use the channel.
I see. This is, you think, that is the final effect of on this?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Muqtas?
I agree with Valmir because we all end up losing, except these scamsters who make money and then run away, like Valmir said. We all end up losing our reputation, our subscribers, our users, and the business, of course.
Okay. Tom, I'm going to ask you, what is the solution? I mean, what do we have to do? Do we have to train the people? Do we have to go out loud in the streets screaming? I mean, what has to be done?
Normally, I would answer, let's implement some proactive activities, but we can't. We can to some extent, right? But it's always like that the scammers, they do the first step, and then we have to follow. We have to be very quick.
Yeah,
we have to be educated. We have to be to say wise is not enough. Thankfully, we have like artificial intelligence that started helping us with that. Where is solution? What I'm thinking, the real solution is, as I mentioned, in the education. Of course, our services and fraud analysis, it's very important because without that, we will lose that market. Sooner or later, all these enterprises, they will realize that, as you said, the ratio between what they spend on achieving the customer and what they are getting in return will be so low that they will find sooner or later other way to manage that. So what I'm thinking is like, first of all, education, and a second, actions in the middle of the market, like we do right now. But these actions, we should take them in common, all together against these shitty waves, I would say.
I understand. Muktesh, anything to add?
Yeah, so, although the regulator, like I said, even the operators in India, they do send out messages to make people aware of what's happening.
That's good.
Yes.
In India only.
Yeah,
maybe.
yes, it happens.
In Europe, I don't think that happens.
But what happens
And
is
in Africa,
it's
for
psychology.
sure,
It's,
with 6%, as we saw in the presentation, in
Yeah.
Africa,
for
it's not
example,
happening.
for example, an impersonation call. Sometimes you get a call from somebody known to you asking for some help. Let's say Netflix OTP. So out of your tendency or willingness to help people, you share that OTP, despite the fact that you're being educated to not to share your OTPs with anyone. And then, of course, the
Yeah.
greed is another reason
Yeah.
why people get defrauded.
Yeah. Good. Vladimir?
Yeah, I think I agree with what my colleagues are telling. In fact, I think banks are starting to teach their customers, because what I'm getting, I'm getting messages and some emails
It's
from the
about
banks.
time, after 20 years.
Yeah,
that we have
telling them, okay,
e-banking,
if you get a call
Yeah.
from random number, don't pick it up, don't
Yeah.
share any information, etc. Okay, because as I said, banks are one of the biggest victims, obviously because they have a lot of money, a lot of cash,
Yeah.
so then they become the prime target for fraudsters. So yeah, it's high time for education. We need to educate on different levels, on different layers. So we need to educate the end users. We need to educate enterprise themselves on even like they can do some small measures on their side, like put a capture or just put some proactive monitoring. Even like for us, for example. Cooperating with the anti-fraud partner would not cost them fortune in the end of the day. It's not something,
Yeah.
So yeah, just think of it. Make sure that it's part of your let's say budget, not only budget but also of your activities, right? Just think of it and make sure that your customers are protected. But if you should also protect yourself, right? So this is important.
That's
Good.
the point.
Thank you very much. Tom, you want to say something?
No, I just said that's the point.
Okay, so I really believe that is an opportunity in disguise. I really believe so, because it's all about the operators. The operators, they had the ability to stop it immediately if they want to, but they take a big advantage out of it most of the times. Maybe now it's getting very tight for them because it gets too long, too much. And okay, of course, education. We have to talk to the people and we have to tell them. And I believe that it's gonna happen. They're always gonna find ways in order to do that. And this is good. The point for us is to act immediately and not to take it as an opportunity in order to make some more money, because some people, they generate something. Anyway. It is a problem, we still have it, but it's okay, we're gonna live with this. We all have paid some spam and some fraud, and we will maybe in the future. Let's hope not in our bank accounts, because it's not the banks that they're paying, it's the people that are paying. Thank you very much for this marvelous panel, and I wish you to have a very nice day ahead. Thank you very much for being here with us.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.